Bitcoin and Ethereum, what's his next move? Let's find out in the charts right here, shall we? Bitcoin has bounced off the bottom of this move, this downward move, and has moved up higher, outside this descending wedge pattern. Does that mean we're turning around? Does that mean Bitcoin is going to go higher, go to the moon, to head over to 40,000 and beyond? We're going to talk about that and more in today's episode because, man, yeah, it looks like it might be, but we don't need to take a look at a lot of information before we decide whether or not this is going to be a real bull run, or do we short it? Do we short just like I said yesterday, short any kind of move? We're going to talk about that and decide what to do based on the information in the charts. Now, lots of good news that are happening as well, and lots of scary news that I'm going to be talking about in another video. So make sure you see that video as well, because that video will have some very, very important piece of news information or a chart that you need to see, right? So make sure you check that out. And last night I did a show on the Bitboy channel. It was an excellent show. I happened to win thanks to my audience. Wow, thank you very much for coming out, showing your support on the Bitboy show. Really appreciate it. I couldn't have won without you guys, so thanks a lot. Oh wow, so we are still in a bear stance here with Bitcoin. Honestly, I'm have to admit. Well, I mean, this volume looks a little pretty. Here. This is on this is on Bitstamp, and you can see there's this volume. It looks nice, looks shiny, but when you compare it to any other volume, it's got to be something massive like that to really give us a push upwards. Not convinced. I'm convinced that this volume is bigger than the push downwards, so that we could see a movement further up. But not much. Now we're gonna take a look at our fib levels and decide if, hey, you know what, where we should look for a short. Best place to look for a short should this continue. Well, right now the 38.2 is the starting point for where we would start looking for shorts. Depending on if we push up to the 38.2, we might want to start studying or looking for some sort of breakdown at the lower time frames and start shorting from there, and seeing what we can take on the lower time frames. If you took a short here, remember your stop loss rate is pretty much up at this level here, closer to the 200 period moving average, because this is where this would be 50%, I believe, across to the move, right, or the whole move, where there's lots of resistance up here. So if we are to somehow get up here, I don't see it happening. If we did get up all the way up here, which is $35,000, right? I gotta remember to say some prices. 35,000. That is where you would we would definitely hit the short, especially if we could see any kind of momentum going the opposite direction. But we'd have to look for it. This would, in my opinion, would not negate the bearish stance at all if we got up to the 78.6, which is the $35,000 mark. The 38.2, which is the $32,000 mark approximately, and was like $32,100 really. That's the most likely first stop target. We got to see whether it decides to break higher. Then we can see maybe the 61.8 as a possible next stop target for this to continue higher. I'm going to wait for the 38.2, which is the 32,000, before I start entering any kind of shorts in this market, and see what happens. If we hold the 38.2, I'm going to check it and see if we break it, then break down. Should we break down and break these trend lines, that would be the best scenario to say, okay, I'm going to hold it. If not, we just check the trend lines. I'm going to start moving my stop losses down so that I don't get taken out by another move higher, because again, this could easily turn into what looks like a W, right? So this thing could go up like this, come back down all the way to the 38.2, come back down, touch this line, and then no, I'm going to go higher. So we got to watch out for that. clearly, right? When people ask me, should you sell down here? I told you that if you're selling to institutional hands. People are going to hold the Bitcoin that you just sold forever. That's the case. The institutions cannot buy up markets. They cannot do that. They can only buy down markets. And when markets are down, that's when they're picking it up because people are selling into down markets. That's what they do. So they did. They picked it up and the markets got spooked and realized, oh my goodness, oh my God, it's not going down. It's not going down. So it went back up. And so the institutions, they stopped buying. They've already stopped buying. They're not buying here. This is all retail pushing this thing up in fear, right? That they've made a mistake. They sold my coins. I sold all my coins. I gotta get it back. Gotta get it back, right? And so yeah, that's why selling when you have a hodl position, selling into weakness is very, very dangerous. Most people do it wrong and they often lose money. So don't do it because this is what's going to happen. Just hold strong and hodl on, right? Hey, you know what? I had plenty of opportunities in the past to sell my Bitcoin when I bought it at $1 and sold it at $32, but I didn't. I bought. That was the only thing I was doing. All the way down and all the way up to back up to 266. Well, actually, I stopped when it was around the $32 mark, and that's how you do it, right? That's how you survive and hold on to your Bitcoins for a long term, because all this is just noise over a long term. Right? If you want to take a small portion of your money and trade this, you can do so and head over to buybit.davincij15.com or femex.davincij15.com. Links are in the description below and also in the pinned comment below, where you can earn $1,200 by following the deposit bonus schedule. And you can make that. You can use that to do your trades and not use your own capital. Okay, so let's see if we can, we'll just have to wait until Bitcoin gets up to the 38.2, but this volume is it's lackluster. But it is a failed move because a fast move in the opposite direction. So we are probably heading further up for a little bit, and then we'll see what happens. Over on Ethereum, right, I was thinking, okay, well, if you want to really short this was where they wanted to go, because I knew that shorting it down here was just wrong. And we've already broken through the resistance. We didn't even get resistance. Didn't even bounce off of any of these key resistance points, even though it had a lot of resistance, and that concerns me on this particular short. So I'm clearing my short here because it should have gotten some sort of resistance here at what was it, $1,881, right there at 1850, right again at 1850. I mean, there was clear resistance at 1850, right? And it was like, what resistance? What? What? So this has a lot of follow through to go through. So you just wanna walk away from the loss and try again at a higher range. Okay, with that said, let's see where this thing could end up coming back to, because it was quite a surprise that it broke through all that resistance so easily. So there you go. 61.8 is one of the targets, because here we are. We could also head right to the 38.2, which is at almost at $2,000. The 61.8 is at $2,151, and that is where I would start looking for any kind of short in this particular market. The Ethereum price is very volatile, very whipsaw back and forth, just has no clue what it wants to do. And, you know, it could be just trying to set up another big M here. You can see, right, we have lots of M's, lots of M's. And so let me draw them out for you guys. You can see this M right here, this one, right, and this one, right, and then we could create another one, and then down she goes. That would really, really suck if it did that, because it would have a lot of pressure, a lot of downward pressure if it did that. Once it broke the $17.34 mark, there'd be so much pressure to the downside, which is $17.34. You can see that's the last turn that we have here. Yeah, it says $17.17 here on the spot market, but if you're trading this, the what's it called, leveraged exchange market, and see what's going on. Wow, that's a nice daily candle, but no volume though on the spot market. Let's see what the volume is on the next leverage market. Yeah, the volume is like lackluster as well. So yeah, you could pretty much look for a short on Ethereum. Let's bring this up. Let's see here. Bring up the short-term time frames. Let's go down to 4 hours. Right. And I'm going to clean this up a little bit. Not going on. I know. Hang on. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And you can see on the leverage exchange, right, the our fibs, right, because you're going to have to do this on the exchange that you're going to be trading on. We're still headed, well, it's the same, practically the same price. And look, it's the same price that we turned around on the leverage exchange, 17.17. And we're looking for 38.2 is the first stop target. See what happens there at $2,000, around the $2,000 mark. And then we'll see, hey, is this just a fake out, right, to the downside? Or are we going to go a little bit higher? And if we do, is it going to head up to the 78.6? Most likely the 61.8, if you ask me, and then roll over, and then we'll see the prices roll over, and hopefully not, because that's so much downward pressure that yeah, we could see prices in the $1,000 range very, very quickly if that happens. But that's the projected outcome, basically. Any kind of rally, right, unless we see volume, and we're not seeing volume both on the leverage exchange or on the spot market, the bulls are not in charge. They're not back. They're just not back. I'm sorry, right? This is all just retail, right? Getting scared because you're selling these assets to institutional buyers who they don't care about the price going down below $30,000. That's only what retail cares about. And so they're going to hold. They're not going to dump. Maybe they'll dump a little bit in order to help you push the price down, right? But that's about it. And then they're going to pick up at a later price even more because they have time and money on their side. Whilst most people in the retail market only have fear, and they're using money that they shouldn't have done in the first place. They're using money that was earmarked for rent or earmarked for some sort of vacation, and they're ending up having to panic sell or panic buy whenever things happen in the opposite direction that it does. So make sure when you do trade, when you do buy or sell Bitcoin, you do it for the right reasons. You do it for holding, and when you hold, you hold. And when you're doing it when you trade, make sure that money is not going to be earmarked for anything else. You can see, and if you do it that way, you'll notice that, hey, you know what? I don't need to take out the money from when I'm trading the little lady strategy. I don't need to take out the money from trading on my day trades. I could trade with confidence that hey, you know what? I don't need that money. I've got money elsewhere. I've got all the money that I need to earmark for everything I need to pay for, and this is not the money that I'm using to gamble with and see what happens, right? And hope that, hey, you know what? My rent money. Let's see if I can double my rent money. No, don't do that. Please don't do that. All right, so I'm going to finish off with you can see that we've pulled back from the abyss on the dominance chart. So let's just see if we could just turn this thing around, because we're creating higher lows here, right? But it's not higher. Let's see here, not higher. Yeah, it's not higher, not quite higher highs on the dominance. So it is trying to decide whether or not to break higher or lower. And the best thing for us to do is if we can break one of these bottoms here, especially this one down here. Well, then the direction is clear. We're heading down to at least 35% on the dominance, and that would be beautiful. All right, folks. Well, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Make sure that you head over to DaVinciJ15.com and subscribe, right, so that you can be a part of the show and watch me do this live and answer your questions, right, live on the show. Also, I'll answer your questions in the chat group as well. Okay, thanks for watching, and remember, Bitcoin's real, Bitcoin's here to stay, and you need to be a part of it. Cheers.